In this week's episode, we are going to wish our great country happy birthday. As y'all know, it is July 4th weekend. We just turned 249, one more year until we get to 250. So happy birthday, America. Independence Day. What does that mean for retirement? What can be your financial Independence Day? We're going to talk about that. Let's roll.
Welcome to the Safe Money Retirement Show with your host, certified financial fiduciary, Tim Wood. Tim is a retirement and income planning expert, best-selling author of Safe Money Retirement, Your Game Plan for Success, member of the exclusive Ed Slott Master Elite IRA Advisor Group, and founder of SafeMoneyRetirement.com. Tim uses an education-first approach with clients nationwide to ensure they understand their choices in planning their own safe money retirement. Tim focuses on wealth management, retirement income, tax and long-term care planning, and asset protection and growth strategies. And now, from the Safe Money Retirement Studio in Johnson City, Tennessee, your host, Tim Wood.
Hello, this is Tim Wood, your host, welcoming you to the Safe Money Retirement Show. I'm a certified financial fiduciary, asset and retirement protection specialist, and your one-stop source for capital preservation and strategic income planning. So happy birthday, America. July 4th, 1776 is when the United States signed the Declaration of Independence. It was ratified by the Second Continental Congress, July 4th, 1776. So we're 249 years old. Seems like a long time, but in the grand scheme of some of the other countries on the planet, actually we're babies. But happy birthday, America. Happy Independence Day. How can you have Independence Day every day in your retirement? Well, I put together a quick list of things that can ensure your independence in retirement, and that's what we're going to get into today. But first, do you already have your copy of Safe Money Retirement, Your Game Plan for Success? If not, why not? We will send you a copy absolutely free with no charge and no obligation so you can make a plan that works specifically for your situation. In this book, you're going to learn what options there really are and what you can do to help yourself plan your own safe money retirement. Give us a call right now. We'll send you a copy absolutely free. It's 800-913-SAFE. That's 800-913-7233, or just log right onto our website at safemoneyretirement.com and register for your book there. So what can you do to have your own financial Independence Day in retirement? I put together a quick list of things that you need to make sure you are working with a certified financial fiduciary and make sure you've got a plan for these things so you can have your own financial Independence Day. So number one of the biggest things is calculating your future financial needs. So that's one of the things I do when I'm sitting down with someone in our first meeting, which I call a fact finder. We're actually determining what are your future needs going to be. Are they going to be the same as they are? Are they going to drop down a little? Or are they actually going to get bigger once you retire? Believe it or not, a lot of my clients these days are spending more in retirement than they were spending when they were working. Now, why is that? Because in retirement, every day's Saturday. When you're working, you go get your hair cut, you go play golf, you do everything on Saturday or Sunday because you're working the week. Well, when you're not working, every day's Saturday. So anyway, so calculate your future financial needs. That's one of the biggest things you've got to do to make sure you've got financial freedom and independence in your retirement. The next thing kind of goes along with it, and it's evaluate your spending. Is your spending going to change in retirement? It absolutely will. We need to make a plan for that. How much extra are you going to have every single month for the extra rounds of golf, for the extra shopping, for the extra trips, for all of that stuff? Evaluate your spending and make sure that you're prepared for what's coming in retirement. Next is to eliminate debt. As much debt as you can eliminate before you retire, the better off you're going to be. So, obviously we want to make sure we pay off any high interest debts first, because that's going to reduce your overall financial strain. But all of the debts that we can get rid of, and we sit down and look at, if you've got a mortgage, does it make more sense to, leave that? And it depends on what rate you're paying on the mortgage. There's a lot of things involved in this that we sit down when we're sitting down and doing the fact finder. But let's figure out a way to try to eliminate as much debt as we possibly can, so you've got that financial independence. Next is to establish an emergency fund and make sure it's always there, because stuff's going to happen, right? You're going to need a new roof on the house. You're going to need a transmission in the car. A family member is going to have an emergency and need money right now, or something's going to happen to someone in your immediate family. You need to have an emergency fund, and you need to have it liquid and that you can get to at any moment when something happens. Again, this is financial independence. This is what's going to make you happy in retirement and financially secure and independent. Next is, where are you investing? Now, y'all have heard me talk about this for years. Where you invest and what you do before you retire is 180 degrees from what you need to be doing after you retire. Again, because of the pesky market math that if you lose 30%, you need between 42 and 43 just to get back to even. Those kind of things don't matter so much when you're in your 20s and 30s. When you're in your 60s and 70s, that's huge because your time horizon is different. So make sure you're invested in the right place. And then making sure that you track where you are is huge as well. Have a plan. Make sure you know where you're going, when you need to get there, and what your plan is to get you there. And then lastly, make sure you've got enough income, and make sure it's guaranteed income. Make sure it's not if-come. Make sure it's not, boy, I sure hope I'm going to have enough money, and I hope I don't take too much out, and I hope the market grows, and I hope and I hope. You need guaranteed income, not if-come. So make sure you've got enough income to cover your coming expenses. It all works together. It's making sure your money lasts. That is what's going to bring you financial independence in retirement and help you to enjoy your retirement and not have to worry about things. Now, a couple more things that I want to talk about is what are the key pieces of your retirement income strategy? Well, the key pieces, number one, we need to make sure we've got healthcare planned out. How are your expenses going to be on healthcare, and what are you going to use to pay for them? Also, if we need to talk about an estate, that's another thing to discuss. But we need to make sure we've got some inflation protection. And where are those income streams coming from? Like I just said, we need to make sure it's guaranteed income. And then we've got some that can actually kick up and make it higher to protect for inflation moving forward. And then lastly, what are the benefits of having this financial independence that we're talking about? It's going to give you more time to enjoy activities that you want to, more time to play, more time to enjoy the money that you've saved up and not underlive your retirement. Make sure you're doing what you can do and what's going to make you happy. Freedom to choose how you earn money. Do you want to, go back to work to make some extra money, or are you done? It's going to totally open up for whatever you want to do, and it's going to reduce stress and make your retirement happier. So enjoy Independence Day weekend. Happy birthday, America, and make sure that you are ready for your own financial independence. Well, I must take a short break. This is Tim Wood, and you're listening to the Safe Money Retirement Show. Let's pause for some exciting announcements.
We all know that friend who's retired and still has to work. The one we've said we won't end up like, working till we die. But are you sure you're prepared? Hi, it's Glenn Beck, and I want to introduce you to Tim Wood. He is the owner of Safe Money Retirement. He's a certified financial fiduciary, and he makes sure that his clients aren't going to be that guy. Tim can help you know you'll have enough guaranteed income to cover you and your spouse for as long as either of you live and protect your money from the next market crash while it grows. Tim's helped hundreds of families know that they have a plan they can count on. You know I don't just trust anyone. Do your own homework with Tim Wood. Go to safemoneyretirement.com/Beck or call Tim. See how Tim can help protect what you've worked so hard for all those years. A safe retirement. Go to safemoneyretirement.com/Beck or call Tim and protect your money from the next market crash while it grows.
You're listening to the Safe Money Retirement Show with your host, Tim Wood.
Welcome back. I'm Tim Wood, your host of the Safe Money Retirement Show. I am a capital preservation and strategic income planning specialist. In this week's case file, we're going to look at the story of Glenn and Christy. Now, Glenn and Christy, when they came in, they were all about wanting financial independence. And on this Independence Day episode, let's talk about what did they need in order to achieve the financial independence they were looking for. So they came in, and once we did the fact finder, we found a glaring gap in their income moving forward. So what do I mean by that? Well, they were both doing pretty well in their jobs, and they were going to be retiring in just a couple of years. So we went ahead and pulled from the Social Security Administration what they were going to get, and we made a plan for when they were going to start social. We plan all of that out. And essentially what we found is with their Social Securities, there was going to actually be a gap in what their current expenses were versus what they were going to get from Social Security. And they were expecting their expenses to pretty much stay right about where they were, like y'all have heard me say before, because in retirement, every day is Saturday. Christy was going to want to go shopping. Glenn was going to want to go play golf. I mean, there's things they were talking about taking a trip to Scotland. All kinds of things they were going to want to do. So really their expenses weren't really going to change and might actually tick up a little. So what did we do? Well, number one, y'all have heard me talk about this before. They needed guaranteed income to cover that gap. So that's the very first thing we did. We looked at what do we need to pull from one of their 401ks to actually get them the income when they retire that they need to cover that gap, to get them the total income that they need when you add both of their Social Securities plus this other income plan to cover all of their expenses and still have some extra. They actually wanted $1,500 a month extra on top of what they were making now, so they had play money. And that's fine, because we all need the paychecks, but in retirement, we also want the play checks. That's why you worked 40, 50, 60 years to get to where you are, because you want those play checks. So we got them an income plan that accomplished that very goal. It got them to where they needed to be so they can pay all of their bills, have the extra money that they need, and they were just completely thrilled. But then there's one more piece. You need the inflation protection piece. So what we did, we got that first piece done. Great, that's fantastic. Then we looked at a smaller income plan that has a continual roll up. So you can put some money, and this is what they did. They put some money, a small amount. I believe they did 50. It might have been 25, but it was a small amount into a plan that's just going to keep rolling up year after year after year after year. If they never need more income and they never turn it on, great. The whole thing goes to beneficiaries. If they need it in the future, well, it's grown year after year after year, and they're going to have some more income they can turn on in a moment's notice if inflation goes up, if healthcare costs rise, if one of them gets in a long-term care situation. There's a lot of ifs. So that's what we did for them. They left completely happy, and they felt financially independent. Now, how can this relate to you? You may want the same thing. You may want financial independence in retirement. Most people do. Well, getting there is the hard part. Everybody wants it. What can you do to get there? Getting there is done through guaranteed income plans, not if-come plans that say, well, as long as you don't live past 87, you should be fine. Okay, well, what happens if you live to 97? What happens if you live to 104? What happens if there's some major market events right after you retire? There's things that are beyond your control, and you only get one shot at retirement. You run out of money, you're done. I mean, no one's going to hire someone that's 76 and just ran out of money. I mean, well, maybe some people will. You could be a doorman at Walmart or whatever, but you know what I'm saying. No one, a real job, you're not going to get one of those at that age. So you need to make sure that your plan is solid. You need to make sure what you're doing is guaranteed income that's going to get you from here to where you need to be. And then if you can, these people, Glenn and Christy had a substantial amounts in 401ks, TSPs. She had an IRA. So we had plenty to pull from. If you've got some to pull from, let's get that first piece taken care of. Then let's look at an additional one that you can turn on at some point in the future. And some people do multiples of those. I had one client a couple weeks ago that actually got 4 $25,000 plans just to go in the future. May never turn them on. If not, fine. We've named beneficiaries for all of them. They just go as a plan once the person passes. But if they need them, they now have 4 they can turn on. So they need a little bit of money, turn one on. The other 3 are still growing. A few years later, they need some more money, turn another one on. The other 2 are still growing. On and on and on. So what you need to do is you just need to sit down with a certified financial fiduciary, preferably one that's independent, that can show you everything in your state, and come up with a plan for you so you can have your own financial independence. Well, I'm about out of time, and I would like to thank you for listening to the Safe Money Retirement Show. If you're serious about your financial future, give me a call, and together we'll get your retirement savings on the fast track to accumulate while reducing exposure to market loss. Thanks for listening, and until next time at the same time, I'm Tim Wood reminding you to stay safe so you can step into a secure future.
You've been listening to the Safe Money Retirement Show with your host, Tim Wood. Find out how to contractually guarantee that your income in retirement is guaranteed lifetime income and not if-come. Avoid any future market losses, plan for the potential of long-term care, and make wise planning choices so you can have the retirement that you deserve. Call us now for your free copy of Tim's best-selling book, Safe Money Retirement, Your Game Plan for Success. Our toll-free number is 800-913-SAFE. That's 800-913-7233. Or log on to our site at safemoneyretirement.com for more information or to request your free book. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you online at safemoneyretirement.com. The preceding information does not represent tax, legal, or investment advice. Obviously, by contacting us now, you are only taking the first step toward protecting your retirement. No information presented today should be acted upon without meeting with a qualified licensed insurance professional. It's important that you read all insurance contract disclosures carefully before making a purchase decision. Interest and other guarantees in annuity contracts are subject to the claims-paying ability of the insurance carrier that issued the contract. The tax consequences of annuity income should be considered with the help of a licensed tax professional. Rates and returns mentioned on this program may vary based on state availability and are subject to change without notice.